From the English capital, a very special occasion. Arsenal against Manchester United, a game everyone is thoroughly looking forward to. Live coverage coming your way next here on EA TV.
All right, yeah, we're recording now. Hello, welcome back to Armchair Armory, and yeah, it's another special edition of the Armchair Armory preview, as we've got Manchester United on the 23rd, so we're recording this a bit early, but we've got Manchester United on Saturday, and I thought I'd bring that guy Stefan back on, the my friend and Man United fan, to talk about the game. Welcome to Armchair Armory, Stefan.
Great to be back, mate. Looking forward to it. And yeah, we're in a bit of a different situation this time. It's getting to the nitty-gritty part of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's kind of panned out how I thought it was going to pan out in a way. That people would start dropping points and taking advantage towards the end. And I think really and truthfully, it comes down to, I think for both United and Arsenal, it comes down to our game and Arsenal's game against Tottenham on May the 12th, I think.
Yeah, two huge games, the top four, and it's been a weird one so far because even though you expect teams to drop points, it's almost like everyone's dropping as many points as they can to avoid top four.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a pretty, strange couple of weeks. I mean, even on the Saturday just gone, so we are recording this after the Norwich game, and obviously Spurs lost to Brighton, you lost to Southampton.
Yeah.
We won, which gives us, it feels like a little glimmer of hope. But yeah, who knows? And I think this game on Saturday is going to be huge in terms of the top four and that game at are you at home or away against Spurs?
Away.
Away.
We're at White Hart Lane.
So yeah, it's going to be a weird one. We might need you to win that for the top four.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird. I mean, how have you been feeling about? I mean, we've spoken about it offline quite a lot, but how have you been feeling about the way the season's gone with United since we last spoke, since the away fixture, the Old Trafford game?
I think it's just been disappointment after disappointment, really. Unfortunately, the season started with so much hope and finishing second last season and getting to the Europa League final with the signings we made, Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho. I really thought we're going to push on this season and maybe not win anything, but at least challenge. And we've failed to kind of do that in every competition. And now it's kind of coming down to this top four battle. And I think since the last Arsenal-Man United game, which obviously United won, I think expectations have been lowered. I think the team is struggling with two things, and I'm not sure which is more than the other, but one is definitely confidence, but there also seems to be a lack of care, it seems, as well, which is the worst, because when your team and players aren't really showing the fight, there's nothing worse as a fan, you know, because sometimes you lose games but you think, all right, at least things didn't go our way, at least they've, you know, put in a shift and tried for 90 minutes to try and get the result. But there's been signs of that lately, and yeah, I think there is a real lack of confidence as well, because I don't feel like players like Harry Maguire are the type to just down tools and not, you know, want to do well. But I think there's just quite a few players really lacking confidence, and it has been a turbulent season with the manager changing, and even with the manager changing, it's not a permanent manager, so he doesn't really have the authority that a proper manager would have, and hopefully next season that will change. And I think Arsenal, on the other hand, you can obviously talk about that, but they're just still growing. But are they going to grow enough to get that top four place, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said to you a few times that, you know, I never thought from the start of the season, even before like the 3 losses at the start of the season, that Arsenal were going to finish in the top 4. I always thought it was going to be top 6 at least.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, and you're probably the first person I've told. I'm actually now starting to have my doubts about Arteta.
Really?
I mean, they've always been there in the background because I know that he's a novice manager and inexperienced and all that kind of stuff. So I've always been like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt from the FA Cup and from, you know, the run of form here and there this season, or the turnaround since the start of the season. But yeah, I am starting to think like, if we finish outside the top 6, is he the right man to carry on?
Yeah.
Because
I suppose since Wenger left, you've been trying to get that manager that should be getting, like Arsenal are a big team in England, that you should be getting back into that top 4. And if he's failed would this be the 3rd season?
Well, no, I mean, I know the Arteta out has used that and say he's finished 8th twice, but I don't really like to say that. I always think that, Emery started off badly and Arteta couldn't really do anything, couldn't really rejuvenate the season. I don't like, it was so bad when Emery left that like there was no way we were going to get into the top 4 anyway, or into Europe anyway via the league. So yeah, I always say, because this would be his 2nd full season, and if we finish outside of Europe again, surely the club have to do something.
I think this season is, I don't think you could properly judge that 1st season because he's only been there half the season and it's not his players, it's not his team. But I think you make a fair point that this is his 2nd full season, so that's 4 transfer windows that he would have had, and it's more
still
like
working.
If it's his team now and he's had 4 transfer windows, I always think managers need 2 to 3 years, so you'd probably give him 1 more season, but I can see why you would start to have those doubts.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, if like we do finish, I'd be on the side of caution to be like, okay, if we finish outside the top 6, I don't think he should be the manager anymore. But if the club, I can't affect what the club do. So if the club decide to keep him for another season, I will obviously back the team and back him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I kind of feel how I felt after we got knocked out by Villarreal in the Europa League last season. I kind of feel like, the doubts are creeping in, and I'm thinking, is what I've been kind of fearing all along now coming to pass, so to speak? And now that we have these 3 games, I mean, I did as we're recording this, we haven't played Chelsea yet. But I did the recording for that, and I said with these 3 games, I see a lot of people on like AFTV and all as Lee Gunner refers to them as top gooners, saying things like, oh, I'm not worried about Man United. I'm like, what are you on about? Why are you not worried about Man United? They've got Cristiano Ronaldo. Even if the rest of the team are playing shit, all it needs is for Ronaldo to get on top of one cross or something like that, and that could be it.
Yeah, it's been crazy because we've been playing pretty poorly, but Ronaldo just, in our last 2 home games, he scored a hat-trick in each one. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said to you, that like the only thing that would get you into top 4 this season would be Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think that's starting to prove right. But I think you're right to have the doubts because he is a novice manager, and next season, Tottenham, they've got Conte now, so they're probably, at the minute they are 4th, and then even West Ham with Moyes, they're doing really well, and United are going to have, it looks like Ten Hag at the minute, but he's obviously won trophies in Ajax, and he's taken Ajax quite far in the Champions League. If it wasn't for a Lucas Moura hat-trick, in the last minute, they would have got to a Champions League final. So I think there's some, hopefully he's going to do well if he does end up getting the job.
How do you feel about Ten Hag coming in?
Do you know what? I think at the minute it's just really difficult with whoever we get in because Pep and Klopp have set such a high standard. I don't think there's any manager in the world. Chelsea have got Tuchel and Spurs have got Conte, and even they're like going to struggle to get near them with top managers because those 2 have been there for like 4 or 5 years now. They've got amazing team / squad, and whoever comes in, it's gonna take a while. I think that's probably not helped either of our clubs or Chelsea or Spurs because the bar has been set so high by those 2. But I think with Ten Hag, we've got to get someone in right, and I think him or Pochettino, whoever was going to take the job, there's always going to be those that are critical, and there's always going to be those who think it's the right decision. But time will tell. But yeah, I've had so many managers now since Fergie where I think they're going to be the one, and it's not worked out. So now I'm just a bit like, surely
Whatever.
one of them. Well, surely one of them eventually has to work out, right?
Yeah, I think I personally think, even though I would have, I think I said to you as well that like I would have, if I was a United fan, I would have probably wanted Pochettino. But like I don't think Ten Hag is a bad appointment because I've
Yeah.
always wanted him at Arsenal.
There's not a lot in it. It's
Yeah.
sort of 55-45.
Yeah.
And really, yeah, it's a hard one to tell. The only risk, I suppose, as I've said to you off air, the only slight risk with Ten Hag is he hasn't been in the Premier League before, whereas Pochettino has, and he's been involved in title races. But then on the flip side, he's not won a trophy, and Ten Hag has won trophies, even if it is in Holland. So it really is a coin flip for me.
I think the main thing. Sorry, carry on, mate.
I just hope they make the right choice.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't necessarily think it's the manager. I think it's more your players that need a revamp.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot. Again, I've said this to you a lot, that like there's a lot of players that you've got on the books that are like similar to Arsenal about 2 years ago, where they're being paid loads, but they're not really pulling their weight. And I'm not referring to like Ronaldo, but I'm talking about people like Pogba and Cavani and Matic and people. I mean, Matic has come out now and said he's leaving at the end of the season, so that's something at least.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think you need an overhaul in terms of the type of player that you bring in.
I think just the personnel, and I actually thought Ollie was doing that for a period. I thought he was bringing in players that, you know, wanted to play for the club, and I think he did do that to a certain extent. But yeah, there's quite a few players there that sort of the club sided with players over Mourinho, and I've always been used to like Ferguson, you know, he calls the shots. Even when he made controversial decisions like to sell Jaap Stam and to sell David Beckham when they were in their prime, he was like, no, this is the right thing for the club.
Yeah.
And that sort of changed under the new managers where sort of there was too much player power.
Yeah.
So I think whoever is brought in, you're right, it needs to be someone that can call all the shots and get in who he wants and sell who he wants. And hopefully that will, you know, put us more into the direction of how clubs like City and Liverpool have been run in the last 5 years, and we'll get back to that elite level. But
yeah, it's kind of a weird state of affairs really, because I feel like Arsenal and Man United are very similar in terms of their trajectory at the moment. Like the difference between the two clubs is that obviously when Fergie left, you guys were on a high. You had won a league. He won a league in his last season, but ever since then you've kind of been trying to find that kind of Fergie power again, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
And the obviously the difference is that you've got the money to reinvest and bring, you know, top players in, whereas we don't necessarily have that. Like I know Wenger left on a low, but like we've not been able to recreate Wenger's first 10 years for coming up to nearly like 20 years now. So like, yeah, it's kind of weird how both of our clubs have been on this like steady decline, and then you've got clubs that when we were younger, like Liverpool and Chelsea and Man City, who were like, well, Man City were relegation fodder back in the day, and now they're like, you know, some of the best clubs in the world, you know, football clubs in the world. It's a really weird situation. But then again, you know, that's how life normally works. If you look at business, that's how it works. Like you go on a kind of growth period, and you have your saturation, and then you have your decline. And at the moment, that's where United and Arsenal are in. I like I've said to you many times, and I stand by what I say, that like United are slightly further ahead in terms of their redevelopment just because they've got the money.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes where I feel a bit sorry for Arteta, because I feel like if he'd got a good top striker in January, you know, the team do play really good football in some of the games I've watched. So would he have got over the line and even got them into the top four if he'd brought in a top striker for 6 months? And I think that is the difference. United do have that financial power, and in a way it's even more frustrating because we've been able to sign all these top players and then we're just still not even performing.
Yeah. I mean, that it's funny on that point about Arteta. Like, there are a lot of fans that think, you know, him and Edu made that decision to not bring in anyone in January, that let Aubameyang go and not replace him, which is something that I had a problem with. I didn't like scream and shout about it or anything like that, but I did think that, you know, it's a bit of a risk to kind of go into the rest of the season with Lacazette and Nketiah as our main strikers. And I always thought that like we were 1 or 2 injuries away from like our season completely capitulating, which it looks like it might do. Because, so yeah, I don't know if I agree necessarily that like, you know, it's money. I think that the mistake that the Arteta and the board have made about the rest of this season is that they've said we've got good enough players already. They've taken a gamble and said Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, etc., etc. That will be enough to get us over the line, and it looks like it's coming back to bite us right now. Because as soon as we lost Thomas Partey, it was kind of like, you know, I know he played badly against Palace, but yeah, it felt as if like once we lost that, and then Arteta made a stupid decision to weaken our midfield and put Xhaka at left back for Brighton. And
I think you really missed Tierney as well. That's been a huge loss.
Yeah, I think so as well. And also Tomiyasu.
But maybe the sort of target for the season was only to get into the top 6. So
I think it was.
Yeah, so maybe that's why they did buy.
Yeah, I think to be honest, like I complain about quite a lot, that I just think like I know fans invent their own expectations and then they kind of like hold the club to ransom if they don't meet that. But it's kind of at the end of the day, like we're not privy to anything that both of our clubs are talking about behind the scenes. Like we don't know, and that's why I said about sacking Arteta. I can't influence that. No fan can really influence the club to get rid, unless they stop going to the games. No fan can really influence that at all. So I personally think that like, you know, they're just the club will make the decision on whatever it is they need to make regardless, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, it's a weird thing, because I feel like, going back to United, I feel like you guys haven't even, because I remember when we spoke before the game at Old Trafford, you were really excited about Ranić coming in, and I felt, and having the couple of times I've watched United over the last couple of months, I don't feel like anything has changed since Ollie.
No, I mean, it was a really weird start to the season under Ollie. I don't know why we were so poor. And then Rangnick, you thought, well, at least there's a style of play. Because I still strongly believe there's a lot of good players in the club, and I think on paper the players we have are probably better than the players you have.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just sort of not come to fruition. I don't think it helps that he's a temp manager, because they sort of partly believe what he's saying, because then they're like, next season, well, he's not even going to be the manager anyway. And I think they're just, also there's huge disappointment after being knocked out of all the competitions, so we can't win any trophies, so they're like just trying to get to the end of the season, trying to get over the line, but it's sort of like a half bothered attempt. And I think that's why I don't think we'll get top 4 either now, unfortunately.
Oh, you think so?
I don't think we will. I think it'll be Spurs now. And I know it kind of changes every week based on the results. But yeah, it's just the team just aren't performing well enough. And we've got Liverpool and Arsenal next. And I know Arsenal aren't performing well. So this game on Saturday, I mean, it really is like a coin flip. I'd probably say it's going to be a draw at the minute, but
I would say the same.
More on the game itself shortly. But I think Rangnick coming in, if we'd got in a permanent manager, if we'd got Conte, for example, I think we'd be a lot better off, actually. I think maybe not in 3-4 years it would have really been. And I do quite like the fact that United, hopefully, if everything I've been reading is right, they are thinking about it properly this time, where they're getting in a manager who's going to work with the board on all the decision making and work with the youth system and actually get us sort of into the right sort of structure, a bit like City and Liverpool. And long term, this is the right way to do it. But yeah, short term, it's never good when you get in a temp manager, I don't think. And I think that's why it's sort of not really worked out that well. And now it's sort of, if we can get top 4, amazing, because it just helps who you can attract in the transfer market if you're in the Champions League for next season. But if not, at least hopefully long term, we're putting in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar with Arsenal in a sense that, like, I never really expect, as I said at the beginning, I never really expected us to finish in the top 4. I was
Yeah.
very pleased with the kind of run of form that we'd had, and that we were for a short time favourites for the top four. But like I still till this day, like similar to what you just said, I don't think we're going to get it. I don't think I can imagine us, if we turn things around now, I can imagine us getting fifth. But like, you know, I never thought that our squad was good enough to get top four. And that's the weird thing with United, is that United's squad probably is good enough to get top four.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's your fixtures as well, because
Yeah.
at one point you went on such a good run. I think you won like 9 out of 10 games, and
Yeah.
the 10th game was like a draw. So you had like 28 points from 30. I thought, oh, we're not going to catch these guys.
Yeah.
And then you've just lost 3 in a row, which is mental. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I really don't. I did not expect us to lose all 3 games to Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. I thought that Palace maybe, Brighton maybe, but Southampton I didn't think we'd lose to. I was confident that we'd try and get back on track with Southampton. But yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, like at recording, we haven't played Chelsea yet. We haven't played our game in hand. But the fact that we've got these 3 games coming up now, which is Chelsea away, United at home, and then West Ham away, I can't see and the way that we're playing at the moment, I can't see where we're going to get a win from, to be honest.
But
yeah,
tough.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is Spurs are Spursy, right? So that gives us both a chance.
Yeah.
Because they've got Brentford away, and they've had a good first season in the Premier League, so that's never a guaranteed win. And then they've got Leicester, who have been hot and cold, but we drew against them. And then they've got Liverpool away, and then it's the game against Arsenal. So part of me is hoping that, okay, we're bad, but at least if the other teams are even worse, we'll get top 4, which is ridiculous.
The other thing you got to worry about as well, which I didn't realise until I heard it on AFTV last night or the night before, I can't remember, it might have been on a Saturday night after the game, that if West Ham win the Europa League, 6th place isn't Europa League anymore.
Oh, I don't think it is actually, is it?
Yeah.
So would only 5th get it?
Yeah, I think so. And then 6th and 7th will probably go into the Conference League, the Europa Conference League.
Okay, well, we might have to get confirmation on that, but I know you can have 5 teams in the Champions League now.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you lose a spot in the Europa League because of that. Okay, that's not great. Because I mean, I don't know what I want next season really, because I do like doing the European trips, but that Thursday football is really damaging for the league form. I think Arsenal benefited from that this season as well, and I guess that's another point really, isn't it, with some of the more negative Arsenal fans, but maybe they do have a point, because Arteta's only had the league to focus on this season. You've only had one game per week.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why another reason why I've started having doubts, just
now
because
started to think.
Because it's like, you know, we're out of all the competitions, like we're out of Europe, we're out of the League Cup, we're out of the FA Cup, we've only got the league. And if, you know, from the position that we were in, you know, to then not, that's the thing, I wouldn't necessarily throw my toys, like I said earlier, I wouldn't throw my toys out of the pram if, you know, I'd probably say, we kind of bottled the opportunity, but if we finish in the European places, I'd be like, okay, yeah, fine, that's progress, that's 3 points, that's 3 positions up from last season.
Yeah.
But if we go from this position of being potential front runners for the last Champions League spot, and come out and then fall out of the top 6, then I'd be like, yeah, this guy is not the right fit.
Yeah.
You know.
I do think you'll stay in the top 6. And I think Arteta will stay. I think they need to let him sign some more players as well to see where it keeps progressing.
Yeah.
Because you've still got 2 games in hand on West Ham, and you've got a game in hand on Wolves, and they're both below. So I think you'll be okay in terms of the top 6. But I think the doubts are valid as well, though. And, we'll just have to wait and see really over the next. Is it 5 to 6 weeks left of the season?
22nd of May is when the season ends.
It's kind of like the most exciting part of the season, but also because our teams are so bad at the minute, we're a bit like, can't get excited about it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, tomorrow I'm going to be worried all day because we've got Liverpool away, and that could easily be, we could get smashed, and that will just knock our confidence for the whole season.
Have you got Liverpool midweek?
Yeah, it's tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
yeah, tomorrow.
So
Yeah,
we're recording now, Monday, bank
Yeah.
holiday Monday. We have Liverpool away, and then this Wednesday night you've got
you've got Chelsea away. Yeah,
So it's and
who
then
last beat the team that beat us 6-0.
Wow, that is
Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, moving on to the game. You mentioned that you think it's going to be a draw. I think that as well. I think it feels like one of the, in the kind of like the early days of David Moyes and the latter days of Wenger, where like every Man United Arsenal game was like 0-0, a boring 0-0. Like that's how I have a feeling that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be, because we've got the midweek games as well. I think the players probably won't be at it, and then us being away. Then again, Ronaldo might pull something out the bag, which is what we're kind of clutching at.
I mean, I know that FIFA doesn't reflect real life or anything like that, but the FIFA sim I was playing with United against Arsenal, it was kind of like that, where it was kind of at loggerheads and no one was really taking their chances, myself and the AI included. And then Ronaldo in like the 66th minute pops up with a header over Ramsdale, and you guys win 1-0.
Well, I'll say that. Let's hope it comes true.
It's probably more the fact that I'm shit at FIFA. That's probably what it is.
I'll have to show you some tips, but yeah, I think it's just two teams in bad form, and let's face it, we could both quite easily get beat midweek, and it's going to be one of those. Yeah, it's not like the glory days, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not.
But it might just be that sort of, because it's a close game, it takes a moment of brilliance from one player, and it could easily be, a moment of brilliance from one of your attackers.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I doubt it.
Martinelli, maybe not Lacazette. I heard a funny stat the other day, by the way, and I can't confirm if this is true or not, but apparently Ronaldo's scored more career goals than Arsenal Football Club since 2012. Which, that's like a 10-year period. I'll need someone to check that, but if that's true, then maybe it will be him that gets the winner.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I personally though, I think that if we beat Chelsea and you lose to Liverpool, I think the momentum will probably be with us.
Yeah, I think it will be.
But I don't think we will beat Chelsea personally. I mean, I'll be surprised if we get a point from Chelsea.
I'm confident after winning there to get to the FA Cup final as well, won't they? So
yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that I'm kind of hoping with the Chelsea game, is that we're playing them just after they've played an FA Cup semi-final, which wasn't very easy to start off with. And then with West Ham, after we play you and we play West Ham, we'll be playing them in between their Europa League semi-final. And I think now Moyes is now trying to concentrate on getting them into the Europa League final.
Definitely, yeah. I think they are focusing on that now.
Yeah, because they drew, didn't they, over the
weekend?
Drew
to Burnley.
Yeah.
Might be worth having a look at their fixtures. But yeah, they'll definitely want to try and get to that final, because that would be massive for West Ham.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's kind of been a crazy season for them, but yeah, they've got Chelsea away as well on Sunday, which means if they lose that, which is possible, the league will kind of be done for them.
Yeah,
and they'll definitely focus. So that could help you for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, for you, would you say that your last 7-8 games are tough, apart from Liverpool?
I think the fixtures aren't as bad as yours, but the ones that stick out, I think once we get through this week, we're okay. We've only got one tough game out of the 6, and that's Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
So if we get through this week okay, then yeah, we might have a chance, like a decent chance at top 4, especially if Spurs continue to like slip up in games like they did against Brighton.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely more worried about Spurs than Arsenal now, because you've lost 3 in a row and it could easily become 4, 5, sticks. I don't think it will. I think you'll probably get a result against us, annoyingly. But yeah, it is interesting how the season has gone, and it is hard to predict, because just when you think, oh, you know, I was thinking about a month ago, Arsenal really hitting good form now. They're going to finish off strongly.
Yeah.
And this has happened, so and even with Spurs as well, that they've been the really most consistent team, because they would win 4-0 one week, then lose the next week. So it's just hard to predict.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even after West Ham, you know, we've still got, after Spurs, we've still got to play Newcastle away, and you know, Newcastle seem to have been able to grind out results since the takeover, and since they signed a load of players. Yeah. So I don't know, but personally, like I said, we can wrap up here soon if you want. But yeah, if you had to predict a score for Arsenal United, what would you say?
I think, unfortunately, 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 0-0.
Oh gosh, it's not going to be worth watching, is it?
I don't know.
I mean, you're probably hoping that you can nick it, and we're hoping that, and maybe the home advantage will help you. But yeah, we've just not been playing well enough, because if it wasn't for Ronaldo free kick, we would have drawn against Norwich, and we got beat by Everton. We drew at home to Leicester, who are probably the better team out of those three, but they've had an up and down season.
Yeah.
And our form, with Liverpool in mind tomorrow, it's not looking like we're going to go to the Emirates and be going home with 3 points.
I think if we lose to Chelsea and you lose to Liverpool, I think, you know, that's where both teams will be thinking we need to get something from this game.
Yeah.
You know, if you somehow pull out a result against Liverpool and we lose to Chelsea, then the onus will be on us to try and get something, and you'll just probably be looking for a point. But yeah, I don't know. I think the reason why it's kind of what you're saying, that I just feel that we're at this moment where both teams are playing so bad. I just think we'll just cancel each other out.
Yeah, that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, you know, unless Ronaldo has a madness like he did on Saturday. Yeah, I just can't see either team winning at this moment. Maybe next season with Ten Hag it might be different, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those ones where I'm not really confident either way. I am still worried about United, just because of the fact that you do have better players than us. Oh, did you hear? Speaking of players, did you hear about what happened to Bruno this morning?
I did, yeah. He was in a car accident. Apparently, it wasn't serious though. So yeah, he'll be playing tomorrow by the sound.
Yeah. That's the other thing as well, is that in terms of lineups, for example, it looks. I don't know if you know, but Lacazette caught COVID, and I think he's going to be out until the West Ham game. So we're going to have this probably a similar lineup that we had against Southampton, and even with that, against United, I just don't think we can penetrate unless Harry Maguire has another, brain fart. I don't think we can penetrate that defence.
I don't know if you've seen the Norwich highlights, but we're really weak on that left side with Telles. Alex Telles is decent whipping the ball in, but he's not really a defender.
Yeah.
You might have some joy on that left side.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say actually that after that result, I really wish that your fans would stop thinking that the good old days are back every time you win a game.
Oh no, I do it as a bit of a joke sometimes.
No, I know.
It's definitely do you know what? It was actually nice to enjoy match of the day for once. I don't think I've enjoyed it since the Spurs game, which was before the international break. So that was a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched back the highlights of the Southampton game yet.
Yeah.
Just because I might do just to see what the goal was, but it's just not. I'm not in the mood right now.
Yeah, and I was really expecting Spurs to beat Brighton at home for the early game, so I thought we would be 9 points behind Norwich going into that match anyway.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it just doesn't really matter anymore. But now 3 points is the gap, and you're thinking, well, there might be a chance.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you, as they say.
I know, but I've just looked at the games we've got left. We've actually only got 6 games left, and 2 are away against you and Liverpool, and 1 is at home against Chelsea. So that's half the games are really tough games. So it is going to be, I'll stick with my prediction of. Unfortunately, I think Spurs will get top 4, but let's hope we're wrong on the game next Saturday, and it's a really good, entertaining game with lots of goals. Maybe bring back the old days a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, we'll just have to, as I always say most of the time on this channel, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we can wrap it up there. And let's wait and see. Let's see how it goes. We just gotta. At the end of the day, we can't really make a judgment on it. I mean, for you, it's a little bit different because you're getting a new manager in. But from an Arsenal perspective, I think I'm not going to really make a decision on the manager until the end of the season. Because it's easy. Fair. It's easy to scream and shout now when things aren't going well. But let's say, for example, we go on a mad run to the end of the season and win every game, we'll get in the top 4 because we have that game in hand. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it would be stupid of me to start. And I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't say Arteta out anyway because it's just gimmick. It's just a gimmick at the end of it. But it would be silly of me to start saying he needs to be sacked now if the team manages to turn around.
Yeah.
So
I think one thing that fans do need to remember as well is the other managers in the other clubs. They're all such top level managers, so it's just so tough even in the Premier League, and that's why even with whoever United get in, he's up against Conte, Tuchel, Pep and Klopp, and that's just the top 4. So it's gonna it's difficult. And but I think, as you said, I think we've covered everything, and I would wish you the best, but I can't do that because we need points.
Well, I think that would be the case for both teams, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I wish you all the best, but at the same time, I don't. I'm hoping we batter you 5-1, but it's probably not going to happen. Let's see what happens. I mean, we can do what we did at the end of the last game, like maybe send your reaction over voice note or something like that, and I'll put that in the reaction.
Yeah,
next
definitely.
Week.
I can send that to you straight after the game, so it's raw and an instant reaction to the game. Hopefully, it'll be a positive one, and I won't just be doing it miserably.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on yet again, and we'll have to do this more. We'll have to carry this on next season.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe you're the start of more people coming on here from different fans of different clubs.
Yeah, we've got a few other fans at work, haven't we? And it'd be good to hear some of their opinions as well. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, Dan.
Cool. All right. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.